Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you have made it to another math lesson. But first, I'm going to teach you something. There are many faces of me. It doesn't change who I am. There's just different ways to represent me. Here, there's a beautiful picture that was drawn by my father. Here is a wonderful picture of me taken by the school. This is a very scary picture of me, also taken by the school. And I think this is probably the funniest picture taken of me. But I am still me. I am Mr. Kent. Does it mean I'm any different? No. It just means I have different ways to express myself. Much like multiplication. Multiplication has different ways of expressing itself. And that's what I want to teach you today. And welcome to the many faces of multiplication. This lesson helps you understand and recognize the different signs of operation for multiplication. Well, you may say to yourself, well, Mr. Kent, I already know that multiply or times is an X, and I've always seen it like that. True, but what if you see something else? Would you know what to do with those two numbers on either side of that sign? Well, let's go through and make sure that you do, so this way you don't have any questions. Yes, the times sign has been around for a long time. We also call it the multiplication sign. And anytime we have numbers on either side, we would say 1 times 2 or 4 times 3. More importantly, there's different ways to create the same sign. Probably one of the most used, well, let's go to the least used one. Depending on the teacher or the ability for the person creating a test that you may see it on, they may use an asterisk. That's the name for this, and it looks like a little star. It may be a little higher. It usually means multiply, the two numbers. So if you see that, it means multiply. The one that's used most commonly is the midpoint, also called a dot operator, or a funnier name, it is the interpunct. This dot, which I like to call it, also means multiply. So this means 4 times 3. Let's look at some other examples. We have parentheses. Now, parentheses doesn't really mean multiply, but the number that's on the outside and the number that's on the inside, if there is no operation here telling us what to do with these two numbers, then it's multiply. Meaning, there's no plus sign here, there's no minus sign, there's no division sign, and there's no times sign. So the fact that there's nothing means that we are multiplying these two numbers. Very important to remember. How about exponents? Exponents means multiplying as well. We're going to take this number this many times. So here I have 2 squared, which means 2 to the second power, which just means 2 times 2. If I wrote 2 to the third power, it means 2 times 2 times 2. And you would multiply that out and get an answer. But I'm not teaching exponents here, I'm just teaching you that this function means to multiply that number that many times. Here we have variables. And much like the example over here with the parentheses with no sign, you would multiply these two letters, and you're saying, how do you multiply a letter? Well, letters usually stand for numbers. That's why we call them variables, because it could vary which number it is. More importantly, just know that if you see two letters next to each other, most likely you'll be multiplying those two numbers at some point in the operation or some point in the problem. If there was 3 or 4, it doesn't matter how many numbers or variables, if there's nothing in between, you are multiplying. In this case, A times B times C will give you the answer that you're looking for. And over here we have a number with a variable. 4a. Well, this means 4 times a. And if I said a equals 2, then the problem would read 4 times 2, which would equal 8. So that's the many faces of multiplication. It's still multiplying. It's still the same operation, just a different look. Much like me, and probably like you. Y'all have a good evening. Bye-bye.